Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us. Today we're going to be looking at some excerpts from a report titled Latest Tech News in 2025.
Wow, latest tech news from 2025. That sounds pretty futuristic.
Right. It's amazing to think we're already living in a time with flying cars and AI-powered hotels. But, I think it's important to take a step back and really look at what's happening in the tech world today and how it's shaping our future.
Definitely. I think it's easy to get caught up in all the hype, but we need to ask ourselves some critical questions like what are the ethical implications of these technologies and how can we ensure that they're being used for good?
Exactly. And that's what we're going to be exploring today. We're going to be talking about AI advancements, what's happening at CES this year, and even get some insights from Bill Gates.
Sounds fascinating. Let's dive in.
All right, let's start with AI. One of the biggest stories coming out of the tech world right now is the rise of this new app called DeepSeek.
Deep sea.
Yeah. It's a Chinese AI chatbot that's become the most downloaded free app in the U.S. market. And it's even surpassed some major U.S. tech giants, like I think Google and Amazon.
Wow, that's impressive, especially for a company that's relatively unknown in the US.
Right. And what's even more interesting is that DeepSeek achieved this success with way less funding and computing power than its competitors.
So they're doing more with less.
Exactly. It really highlights a different approach to AI development that's coming out of China, I think. One that prioritizes efficiency and innovation.
And that seems to be working.
It is. And, it's definitely shaking things up. Just look at the recent dip in U.S. tech stocks, for
Oh,
example.
I saw that. Investors are definitely taking notice.
They are. And so is the government. President Trump actually called DeepSeek a wake-up call for the U.S. tech industry.
A wake-up call. That's pretty strong language.
It is. But, he's not wrong. I mean, this is a Chinese company that's come out of nowhere and is now dominating the U.S. market. It's a sign that, the U.S. is no longer the only player in the global tech game.
It definitely signals a shift in the balance of power.
Right. And that's why President Trump announced a massive investment in AI infrastructure. He wants to make sure that the U.S. stays ahead of the curve in the race for AI dominance.
So it sounds like AI is becoming a major battleground in the U.S.-China rivalry.
It is. And the stakes are high. Whoever controls AI will have a significant advantage in the 21st century.
It makes you wonder what the implications of that are, right? I mean, AI has the potential to revolutionize so many industries, everything from healthcare to transportation to education.
Yeah, it's both exciting and a little bit scary. It's important that we have these conversations now so we can ensure that AI is developed and used responsibly.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about someone who's been thinking about the future of technology for a long time. Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, what's he been up to?
Well, he recently released his memoir, and he's been doing a lot of interviews talking about his life and his thoughts on the world.
I'm sure he has a lot to say.
He does. One of the things that really struck me was an anecdote he shared about his childhood. Apparently, young Bill Gates used to sneak out at night just to use a computer.
Sneak out.
Yeah. His parents had a rule that he couldn't use the computer after a certain hour, but he was so obsessed with it that he would wait until they were asleep and then, sneak out and use it.
That's pretty dedicated.
Right. It just shows his early passion and drive to explore what technology could do.
I guess some things never change.
They don't. But, it's interesting because now, decades later, he's expressing concerns about how technology is affecting society today.
Really?
Yeah, especially when it comes to children and social media.
What are his concerns?
He's worried that, kids are spending too much time online and that it's having a negative impact on their mental health and their social skills.
That's a valid concern. I mean, we're seeing more and more research about the potential downsides of social media.
Exactly. And that's why Gates is actually supportive of regulations like the proposed ban in Australia on social media for kids under 16.
A ban? That seems pretty extreme.
It does. But, I think it shows how seriously he's taking this issue. He believes that we need to do more to protect children from the harmful effects of technology.
That's a pretty interesting perspective coming from someone who helped create the digital world we live in today.
I know, right? It shows a level of reflection and awareness that I think is really important.
Definitely. I'd be interested to hear more about what he has to say on this.
Well, we'll definitely be talking more about that in a future episode. But for now, let's move on to something a little more futuristic. CES 2025.
CES. You mean the Consumer Electronics Show?
Yep. It's happening right now in Las Vegas, and it's always a showcase for the latest and greatest in technology.
I'm sure there's a lot to see this year.
There is. One of the big trends this year is smart glasses.
Smart glasses. Are those finally taking off?
They are, and they're more advanced than ever before.
Like what kind of advancements are we talking about?
Well, for example, the new Ray-Ban Meta glasses are packed with AI-powered features. They can do things like real-time translation and object recognition.
So you could be walking down the street in a foreign country and your glasses would translate everything you see and hear.
Yep, and if you see something you don't recognize, your glasses can tell you what it is and give you information about it.
That's pretty amazing.
It is. It's like having a personal AI assistant built into your eyewear.
That's definitely a game changer. And, it's not just about convenience either. Smart glasses also have the potential to help people with disabilities.
Right. Like, for example, the company Nuance has developed audio smart glasses that are designed to help people who are hearing impaired.
How those work?
They amplify voices and filter out background noise, making it easier to hear in crowded or noisy environments.
That's really cool. It's great to see technology being used to improve accessibility.
Yeah, I agree. But, CES isn't just about gadgets and gizmos. There's also a lot of talk about the bigger picture of how technology is shaping our lives.
Like what?
Well, for example, there's this new hotel in Las Vegas called Autonomous.
Autonomous?
Yep. It's being billed as the first fully AI-powered hotel.
What does that mean? Like, are there robots running around serving drinks?
Maybe not robots, but AI is integrated into every aspect of the guest experience. You can check in using your phone, use facial recognition for verification, and your room settings are personalized based on your preferences.
So basically, you could stay in a hotel without ever interacting with a human being.
Pretty much. It's both impressive and a little bit unnerving, you know?
I know what you mean. I mean, it's cool to think about how technology can make our lives easier and more convenient, but it also raises some questions about privacy and data security.
Exactly. How much information are we willing to share in exchange for convenience?
That's a good question. And it's one that we're going to have to grapple with as technology continues to evolve.
It definitely is. I mean, it's an exciting time to be alive, but it's also a time to be thoughtful and deliberate about how we're using technology and how it's shaping our world.
I agree. And it's great that we're having these conversations now so we can be more intentional about the future we're creating.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about some of the other exciting developments that are happening in the world of technology.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. Welcome back to our deep dive. It's crazy, all this stuff that's happening in 2025.
Yeah, I know, right? Like flying cars. I still can't believe that's a real thing.
It's like we're living in a science fiction movie or something.
But, it's not all just fun and games, right? There are some serious implications to all this tech.
Oh, definitely. Especially when you start talking about AI and, well, data in general, like in healthcare, for example.
Right. I mean, we talked a little about that in the last segment, but it's worth digging deeper into, I think.
Absolutely, because healthcare is becoming so much more about data now. It's not just about treating illnesses anymore. It's about preventing them in the first place.
And that's where all this data comes in, right?
Exactly. We have wearables, smart scales, even things like toilet trackers, all generating tons of data about our bodies. It's like our bodies are turning into these walking data mines.
Okay, so we have all this data, but what do we do with it? I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not a data scientist. I can't make sense of all those numbers and charts.
That's where AI and large language models come in. They can analyze all that data, identify patterns, and give you insights that you could never get on your own.
So instead of just getting raw data about my steps or sleep, I'll get actual recommendations tailored to my specific needs and risks.
Exactly. Imagine a system that says, hey, based on your sleep patterns, activity levels, and stress hormones, you're showing signs of a potential heart condition. Here are some things you can do to improve your heart health. It's about empowering individuals to take control of their own well-being.
That's pretty amazing. It's like having a personal health coach who knows you better than you know yourself.
And that's just one example. There are so many possibilities for how data and AI can transform healthcare.
It's pretty exciting, actually. And speaking of exciting, let's talk about mobility. We talked about self-driving vehicles and flying cars, but there's also a lot happening in the world of sustainable transportation.
Absolutely. Sustainability is a huge focus right now, and for good reason. The transportation sector is a major contributor to climate change, so we need to find cleaner, more efficient ways to get around.
And CES showcased some really promising solutions. Electric vehicles are becoming more mainstream, with longer ranges and faster charging times.
I saw a report about a new EV battery that can charge in just 10 minutes. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
No more range anxiety. You could just pull up to a charging station, grab a cup of coffee, and be back on the road in no time.
That would be game-changing. But it's not just about electric cars. There's also innovation in public transportation and micromobility. Electric buses, scooters, and bikes are becoming more common in cities around the world.
It's all about creating more livable, healthier environments for everyone, and technology is playing a key role in that transformation.
We have smart traffic management systems that optimize traffic flow, reducing congestion and emissions. And there are apps that encourage carpooling and ride-sharing, making transportation more efficient overall.
It's fascinating how technology can connect people, improve efficiency, and help us protect the environment all at the same time.
It really is. But one thing that's been on my mind a lot lately is this whole US-China AI competition. We touched on it earlier, but I think it's worth exploring a bit further.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. I mean, it's not just a competition between two companies or even two industries. It's a rivalry between two superpowers, each vying for global dominance in the field of AI.
And the stakes are incredibly high. Whoever controls AI will have a significant advantage in the 21st century.
Exactly. It's not just about economic competitiveness. It's about national security, military power, even cultural influence.
The emergence of DeepSeek really brought this rivalry into focus, didn't it?
It did. I mean, here you have this Chinese company that comes out of nowhere and suddenly becomes the most popular app in the US. It was a wake-up call for a lot of people.
And it seems like both countries are now doubling down on their AI investments.
Absolutely. And it's not just about funding. It's about attracting top talent, fostering innovation, and developing ethical guidelines for AI development.
It's a complex landscape to navigate, for sure. While competition can drive innovation, it's important that both countries prioritize responsible and ethical AI development.
I agree. Collaboration is key here. We need to make sure that AI benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
Okay, so we've talked about AI in healthcare, mobility, and even geopolitics. Now let's dive into another exciting area, augmented reality.
AR. Oh, yeah, that's one of my favorites. It's where the digital world blends seamlessly with our physical reality.
Right. It has so much potential in gaming, entertainment, education, even healthcare.
CES showcased some incredible advancements in AR this year. We saw next-generation smart glasses that offer truly immersive experiences, allowing users to interact with digital objects and information overlaid onto their real-world view.
Can you imagine walking down the street and seeing virtual signs pointing you to nearby shops and restaurants, all displayed right through your smart glasses? Or attending a virtual meeting where your colleagues appear as holograms in your living room?
The possibilities are endless.
It's mind-blowing. But what about practical applications of AR?
There are tons. In healthcare, for example, AR can assist surgeons during complex procedures by providing real-time data and 3D visualizations.
I saw a demo where a surgeon was using AR glasses to see a patient's internal anatomy overlaid onto their body during surgery. It was incredible.
And in education, AR can create interactive learning experiences. Imagine history lessons that bring historical events to life or biology classes where students can virtually explore the human body.
And don't forget about retail. You could try on clothes virtually without ever stepping into a fitting room or see how furniture would look in your living room before you buy it.
AR is bridging the gap between the physical and digital worlds in amazing ways.
It's exciting, but are there any downsides we should be aware of?
Well, like any technology that collects and uses personal information, there are concerns about privacy and data security.
And I could see how AR could potentially lead to a more isolated society where people are constantly plugged into their devices and less engaged with the real world.
That's a valid concern. It's important to use AR in a way that enhances our lives, not detracts from them. It's a powerful tool, but it needs to be used responsibly.
Okay, so as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, it's clear that all these technological advancements are interconnected. AI is driving progress in healthcare, mobility, and AR. Data fuels these innovations, and ethical considerations are woven through every aspect of this evolving technological landscape. We're back, and we've covered so much in this deep dive into tech in 2025. It's wild. I mean, AI, health tech, flying cars, augmented reality. It feels like the future is already here.
I know, right? I think what strikes me is how everything is so interconnected now. Like, you can't talk about healthcare without talking about AI or data. And then you have AR, which is changing the way we interact with the world around us.
It's like those lines between the physical and digital worlds are just blurring.
They really are. And it's not just about technology either. It's about how technology is changing our lives, our relationships, our societies.
Right. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges we face moving forward, figuring out how to harness the power of technology without losing sight of our humanity.
Exactly, because technology is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us to make sure that we're using it to create a better world.
Absolutely. And that starts with asking some tough questions like, what kind of future do we want to build? What are the ethical implications of these technologies? And how can we ensure that everyone benefits from them?
Yeah, those are important questions. And they're not easy to answer, but they're conversations that we need to have.
We need to be thinking about these things now, before it's too late.
Because technology is moving so fast. And if we're not careful, it's going to leave us behind.
So what can we do? I mean, we're just two people talking about this stuff. It can feel kind of overwhelming.
Well, I think the first step is just to be aware, to stay informed about what's happening in the world of tech, and to think critically about how it's impacting our lives.
And to speak up, to challenge the status quo and demand better from those who are creating and controlling these technologies.
Right. We need to make sure that technology is serving humanity, not the other way around.
Absolutely. So to everyone listening out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing for a better future.
The future is not predetermined. It's something that we create together. And with the power of technology at our fingertips, I think we have the potential to build something truly amazing.
And that's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the tech trends of 2025. We'll be back soon with another episode. Until then, stay curious.